Hi, everybody, and welcome to another exciting comics loving edition of Words, Images, and Worlds. So glad to be talking on this episode with comics creator Ennun Ana Iurov. Did I get that right?
Yay!
Was
Yes,
that close? Okay,
perfect.
perfect. All right. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me, and thanks for sitting through the intro there.
And thank
Um,
you for having me.
my pleasure. My pleasure. Enjoy your work a great deal. I'll mention a couple of titles that folks can go check out. One of
Oh,
those being Needle and Thread. Needle and Thread currently in progress. Lower Your Sights. You have a contribution to Lower Your Sights, which is an anthology supporting Ukraine. And then you have an upcoming book, which I think will come out about a month from the time that this lands, which is Whisper in the Woods.
yes.
So you have been
Soon.
a busy person.
Could be busier, honestly.
What would you like to take on? What would you like to do in the world of comics that you're not currently involved in?
Well, a lot of the projects that I've done so far have been, how to put it, owned by the publishing house.
Yes, yeah.
So I would really like to do at the same level that they do, but a self-published work or
Yeah.
a creator-owned, I think it's called,
hmm
comic. So
Yeah.
that'd be really nice. Hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you cooking some ideas? Do you have some notes in books and Google Docs and things like that?
Oh, I have too many ideas.
That
I
is
have
a
a
good
list.
good thing.
I always go to my friends and be like, guys, I got an idea. Listen to this. I just talk for 3 hours.
So it
So
sounds
like
like
the
you,
ideas are there. It's just actually doing them now.
yeah. So it sounds like you have a comics community, some people that you bounce ideas from.
uh yes and no. It's like I've made some friends who make comics and from what would you call them? Like very small publishing houses.
hmm
But most of the people that I throw ideas at are they're artists, but they're mostly friends from like university or stuff like that. And they don't like none of them have gotten into comics at the
hmm
industry, but they're still doing like creative, jobs. So it's
Nice.
it's actually quite nice having someone to talk to that isn't in the industry
Yeah.
because then
Yeah.
they have a very different outlook on this kind of stuff. So it's quite
hmm
fresh.
Nice. So some fellow creatives at least.
Yes.
Yeah. So what about comics attracted you and your talents? Why did comics become the thing that you wanted to make?
Honestly, I'm not too sure because I joked with my mom about this a lot because when I was younger, she used to say that I would do comics, and I was always like, "You like don't say that. You don't know that. You don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll do something else. I don't know." And then yeah, I did fashion, so mother's always right, of
hmm
course.
hmm
Um, but I think what attracts me to doing comics is the possibility of telling a story in a way that's easy for me because
hmm
I'm not really the best with words. Like if I want to express something, I'm not really the best at communicating it. But if I draw it, it's way easier for me to just put out the emotion that I want and for
hmm
people to interpret it, if not like the same, then very similar to what I was intending. So I think that's what comics really allows me to do is just to really express the stories that I want to share in a way that's easier and digestible for the people who read them.
Love it.
At least I
Love it.
hope so.
hmm Are there particular creators or stories that inspire you?
Yes, comic wise, it's mostly manga, to be honest.
hmm hmm
I think it's just because since I was small, since the first time I discovered manga, I think when I was like 14 or something like that, it was just so different than what I was used to that it immediately grabbed my attention. And I've
hmm
just kind of been fascinated with it ever since. And it's actually been from manga that I found a lot of Western comics because in Romania, we didn't really get a lot of comics like published or in shops or anything. So I've only really gotten to see them when the internet became bigger. And a lot of people started sharing and being like, oh, have you read this or that? And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. And so I started getting more into them very recently because of that. Title wise, a really amazing artist that I like, Emily Carroll. She does horror comics.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love them so much, especially because, again, they're very different visually than what general comics are like. It's like a lot of the panels are kind of messy. A page isn't necessarily split into panels. It's just kind of like, here's a drawing and here's another drawing, stuff like that. The colors are always very expressive. So I love that. Recently, an artist that I really, really love and inspired me a lot, Cho and Jake Wyatt, if you've heard of them. They published a book, I think 2 years ago, it was The Wishing Well.
I know that one. Yeah.
It's so good. I was so happy when I saw it. I was like, oh my God, my favorite artist.
Yeah. I love that one too. Love the fantasy take on it. Yeah.
It's so nice.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's no.
Emily Carroll did a really interesting adaptation of the novel Speak, Laurie Halse Anderson. That's a really powerful book too. So
I should look into it.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Any creators or people along the way or experiences that you've had that have been especially positive?
With comics or just generally speaking?
In general as well. You can go after it the way that you'd like. Positive collaborations, positive experiences, and then we'll talk about Whisper the Woods.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm still very, very, very new to the actual industry of comic books. So, like, I've been self-publishing online for ages, but like actually being into the industry that deals with this is very new to me. And because of that, I've also barely met a lot of people other than who I already knew. But I can say that Mad Cave, who I've worked with so far, have been absolutely amazing. And I think I'm very lucky to have had such a good experience as my first experiences in the comic industry, especially because there was that trend not too long ago of people talking a bit about the behind the scenes side of publishing, and especially in comics. And it revealed some not so great companies and stuff like that. And especially when I was reading those, I was like, damn, I'm lucky. So I think in that sense, I've had a pretty positive experience so far.
Wonderful. And may it continue.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Here's wishing for the best.
Yes. So Needle and Thread is very sort of exploring self, exploring identity, very slice of life. The impression that I'm getting of Whisper of the Woods is that it's a little different. It's maybe a little more in the darker supernatural corners of exploring sort of this forest in, is it Romania? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So any glimpse, anything that you'd like to share about Whisper of the Woods?
Yeah, well, first of all, just real quick, completely different genres. Needle and Thread was written by a very, very talented writer, David. And I only did the illustration, but when Whisper of the Woods, when the idea was proposed to do another comic with Mad Cave, they asked me if I wanted to also write the story because I expressed interest in doing something horror. I was laughing about it because I was like, on the internet and social media, I don't really post horror, but I'm a very, very big fan of horror media, movies, comics, everything. It's so fascinating to me. So my editor at the time, Chris, came to me and was like, so how about a horror comic? And he gave me some ideas. He was like, but maybe thriller or something like police work, that kind of comics. And I was like, when I said horror, I mean more like, really horror, like dark fantasy or supernatural. That's the kind of stuff that I'm really into. And so I presented the idea of Yele, which is a traditional Romanian folk creature thing It's kind of similar with maybe a nymph combined with a banshee combined with a ghost type of thing. It's complicated to explain, but I hope I explained it well in the comic. I don't know. But yeah, it's basically a horror comic on Romanian folklore that happens in a forest called Hoiabaciu, which is an actual forest that exists and is widely considered one of the most haunted forests in Europe. How haunted it is, I don't know, but you know. So yeah, it was really fun because it's hard to find anything on Romanian folk because it's not really the most popular country out there. So it was nice being able to tell a story about something that hopefully gets people more interested. It would be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, absolutely. And it comes out just in time for the Halloween season and
Yes.
in October, so that will be really exciting to see.
Yeah. Hopefully goes well.
Yes, yes, and sending all the good vibes there, and I'll be sure and review it for you as well.
Oh, that would
Um,
be amazing.
oh yeah, any upcoming ideas that you'd like to talk about, upcoming events, or any current web spaces where people can connect with you?
Well, social media wise, I'm pretty much everywhere.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
like a leech. Uh, Mostly Twitter, Instagram. I have my own website, but all of my links really are like if you go on Twitter, my pinned tweet, all of my links are there, so it's easier for people to find me like that. Um, Projects wise, I'm currently working on a little project that I proposed to myself, where each month I do a short comic because usually when I think of making a comic, I think of something short and then it ends up with like 70 pages long. So I was like, I need to just restrain myself a bit. So I've limited myself to a maximum of 8 pages.
Oh,
But so
nice,
far
nice.
it's going pretty well. Uh, I missed 1 month, unfortunately, because I was really busy this month, but I'll catch up later. It's fine. But that's about it. I'm in talks, but I won't give any details, but I am in talks about a future comic. But we
Great.
just started talking like a while ago, so who knows? By the time this is out, maybe more details will be out. But yeah, so
Fantastic.
far that's about it.
Sounds great. Well, it sounds like things are on the way. Excited to see Whisper the Woods, and I appreciate your work. Did I miss anything that you want to make sure to mention?
Hmm, I don't think so. Like the as far as the comic goes, I think as long as people read it with an open mind, I think that's all that I really want from it.
Hmm. Hmm. Love it. Love it. And a nice sense of atmosphere, I'm sure, with a
Yes.
haunted forest.
Yeah, hopefully it's spooky enough for people.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, thank you for taking some time to talk with me. I'll be sure and link your website, and I will share this back with you and share it out in the world.
Yay, can't wait to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you
Thank you,
for having
Ennun.
me.
Anytime, anytime. Thanks for coming on. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.